regardless of your politics and whether you think we should put more money in people's hands or not. Either way, the more money, the more inflation. Okay, that's how it's going to happen. So you need to protect yourself against that. And that's what I'm trying to teach you what to do. This is why you have to invest, because your money has to grow. If you put your money in the market in 2000, you would have kept up with inflation. But if you left it in your bank account, you can't afford anything.
Bear gang till I die, ho. Swooped up the homies and we about to start a sideshow.
Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is our current debt. Are you ready? U.S. national debt, $27 trillion. And it's going up by 100,000 every 2 seconds. The debt per citizen, $82,068. That includes kids. Your kid is born with $82,000 in debt on average. Debt per taxpayer, if every taxpayer in America would have to pay $217,000 just to break even. Oh, and the second we break even, we go again. Medicare, Medicaid, $1.3 trillion. Social Security, $1.1 trillion. $701 billion. Defense. Now, here is the reason that this becomes a problem. The interest on the debt. That means how much you have to pay just to continue to hold the debt. $341 billion. So when somebody says to me, Stocky, just tax the 0.1%. Okay. I can tax the top 1% of Americans 100%, and it'll only pay for Social Security for 1 year. And then they would all go bankrupt and we would have nothing. So I'm not defending billionaires. I'm just letting you know why that's not the solution. It can help, but the solution is to stop spending so much fucking money. Okay? All right? So if you took 100% of the top 0.1% of Americans, you would pay Social Security for 1 year. Not defense, not Medicare, not Medicaid, and not any other social programs. Okay? All right. The U.S. workforce, 147 million. Unemployed, 12 million. Actual unemployed. Notice how these guys give you the truth. The difference between official and actual unemployed. Because when we have official unemployed, it does not take into account people who have left the workforce. Actual unemployed is 19 million out of 147 million. That is 13%. Okay? Here's the fun fact. The not so fun. Tickled monkey. Jesus Christ. Stop it. All right. Full-time workers, 122 million. 25 million people are part-time. Part-time. Okay? That is 1/5 of the entire workforce is part-time. Okay? What's the difference between actual and official? Official is the number that they give you based on the numbers of jobs added versus jobs filed claim. It does not add people that are either stopped working for the workforce or have gone on disability or other things. Okay? Dollar to silver ratio, 4,233 per ounce. Now, based on 1913. That shows you inflation, guys. That's inflation. The same... Based on inflation, the same thing that cost you $2.64 in 1913 is now $4,233 if you use it in the average from there, okay? What is the median income in 2000 or 2020? Okay, here's the big problem, guys. The average income of Americans has only gone up 12% in 20 years. A home price has gone up over 100%. Do you see the gap there? This is why you have to invest, because your money has to grow. If you put your money in the market in 2000, you would have kept up with inflation. But if you left it in your bank account, you can't afford anything. This is why I try to scream at you about investing, because hyperinflation works in two places. Number one, in the equities and the stock market. Number two, in real estate. Here's the funny fact. Dollar to crypto, 98 to 52. All right. Food stamp recipients in America, 44 million people. 44 million people, almost 45 are on food stamps. That means we have 45 million people, probably more, that are under the poverty level and qualify for food stamps. Can't invest if you live paycheck to paycheck. Exactly. But the point is about help people get out of that situation and get to a better situation. It's not easy, but it can be done. And part of it is by overselling yourself, learning trades, learning things on the side. I mean, it's tough. I'm not going to sit here and break it down for everybody because everybody's situation is different. Okay. But also making better life or better economic decisions. A lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck, and I'm not talking about you, but a lot of people who live paycheck to paycheck do so because they overspend. A lot of them can't help it, but a lot of them overspend. And those people I want to help as much as possible to get their spending down and to help them consolidate that and to not only help them get more financially, fiscally responsible, but also to help them better themselves in life with a lot of things. Okay, a couple other things, guys. Here's the problem. What was the U.S. workforce in 2000? 158 million people. Now it's 147 million. But wait, Stocky, that doesn't make any sense. What you're telling me is that if official unemployed is 12 million, that means that we haven't added anybody to the workforce since 2000 net, yet the population has exploded. Why does that make sense? How does that make sense, guys? Okay? There are a lot of people that have stopped being in the workforce overall. They no longer count as unemployed. All right? Now, a few other things to look at here. U.S. self-employed, 8 million people. Now, somebody got mad at me the other day and I said, government does not create the most jobs. The government is not the job creator. And somebody goes, Stocky, how could you say that? Do you know how many government jobs there are? Yeah. But compared to the private sector, that is where jobs are created. Look at this right here. Government employees, 23 million versus private sector, 115 million. Couple other things. Manufacturing jobs now versus 2000. We've lost them. Everything's gone overseas. We have got some of them back. U.S. retirees, 55,102,841. I mean, it'll be 840 in a second, but you know what I mean. All in VTR, boys. That number's going to keep going up. U.S. millionaires, 18 million people. Is that too many? There's always been an argument that says everyone wants to defend millionaires because they think they're going to be a millionaire one day, but they're not. But at the same time, there becomes an issue where at what point do you cut it off? At what point are we acceptable? Because there's this belief, and this can have political annotations, but I'm going to use it in a monetary standpoint. There's this belief that I'm okay with something happening to somebody else as long as it's not me. Right? And that's a slippery slope that, especially in economics and finance, that we find ourselves into. It's okay if somebody who has more than me has to pay more because it's not me. But then when it's me, fuck that, right? But what we've seen in history with other things is when we don't fight for other people. I'm not saying we should fight for millionaires, but I'm just talking about in general. When we don't fight against something for other people, when time comes for us, there's no one to fight for us. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make an example of, oh, well, we should fight against millionaires getting taxed. I'm just saying I'm giving you both sides of the story. One of them is, hey, we always want to defend millionaires because we think, well, we'll be millionaire one day and we want to benefit from that, but we're never going to be millionaires. So fuck the millionaires. But the other side says, well, at what point does it trickle down? So I'm just giving you both sides there. The median income has only gone up 12%, but the average home has gone up 100%. And stocks have gone up about 200%. That's why you need money in stocks, guys, because for every crash, there's a rebound. And inflation is just going to get even faster and faster and faster. Regardless of your politics and whether you think we should put more money in people's hands or not, either way, the more money, the more inflation. Okay, that's how it's going to happen. So you need to protect yourself against that. And that's what I'm trying to teach you what to do. How much would you need to be invested to live off dividends? That depends on a couple things. The amount of money you have in it, the amount of return, and the amount of growth. Raising taxes isn't immediately a bad thing. Well, it depends on what you mean by a bad thing. It would depend on who you do it and how you tax it, right? So some people want to say, well, let's tax capital gains. Well, that's fine, but then you just hurt even middle-class Americans even more, because how many middle-class Americans have an IRA set up, right? Not as many as the majority, but I mean, how many Americans are going to get hit with that? Right? So do you cap it at what percent, at what amount of money? Well, where do you draw that line? And you're never going to see politicians actually go after billionaires, because billionaires are what put them in office, and corporate owners are going to put them in office. So what they'll do is they'll give you, one party will say, yeah, we're going to raise corporate taxes. I already did a TikTok on that. That's just political theater. Because if corporate tax is at 15% and Amazon's paying 0%, and a party says we're going to raise corporate tax to 20%, well, if they're paying 0% at 15%, they're going to pay 0% at 20%. And then if you say, oh, well, we're just going to tax the corporation here, they're just going to move, but the same people, the same politicians will tell them, yeah, just take your shit offshore. Then the next party comes in and says, we're going to lower corporate tax to bring them back over here. Well, they're going to pay 0 tax anyways. It's all political theater, guys. Here's the fun fact, guys. Income tax, 1.6 trillion. Payroll tax, 1.3 trillion. Your tax revenue is $10,000 per citizen with an average debt of $82,000 per citizen. Well, what could go wrong there, boys? That would be like if you made $100,000 a year, but you spent $800,000 a year. What is the solution to the national debt problem? We need to get our spending in check. That's number one. Okay? Unfortunately, coronavirus is making that even worse. But here's the problem. We're never going to get out of debt. And people that are currently benefiting off of us getting in debt or things that are happening is only going to make the next generation fucked. Remember how when we were kids, we always said, oh, they're kicking the can down the road to fuck the next generation? Well, guess what? We're trying to blame the boomers, but we're doing the same to the next generation. And the next generation will do it to the same until there's a financial collapse. Rome did it. Britain did it. Every single civilization and superpower in history who got out of control debt collapsed. Okay? That's how it is. At some point, every civilization goes bankrupt that overspends themselves. The last one to do it was the USSR. Okay? And you have to make a tough decision at some point, or everyone loses. Here's the fun fact, though. Can I give you all some hard truth on a Friday? Taxes don't mean shit. Okay? These are all ones and zeros in a computer. The only reason that we pay taxes is to give value to money. Okay? You could tax trillionaires, and you could tax everyone in America 100%, and we'd still be in debt because we don't have a currency that is backed by anything. There is no true value to it. It doesn't matter. The government could collect 0 taxes and nothing would change. People don't understand this. We live in our banking and our currency financial situation in the world is taxes are irrelevant. Taxes are only there to help make you believe in value of currency. I don't think people really understand this. Well, let's just tax the billionaires even more. You could tax nobody anything and we'd be exactly the same position. This is all theater, guys. This is all theater. Okay? This doesn't mean shit. Currency is only valued at what you think it is worth, what you're willing to believe it's worth. All right? I'm sorry to tell you this. For everyone who says we should have 0 tax or 100% tax, it's all a fucking smoke and mirror mirage. The government could be collecting $0 or $10 trillion in taxes. It's just numbers in a computer and this imaginary idea of what money's worth. Okay, I'm sorry to break the bubble.
Report 007 for the
I'm
fake
sorry
gifted subs, Keck.
to break the news to all of the people on this side who think we should put taxes at 0. And I'm sorry to all the people on this side who say tax the trillionaires and billionaires and millionaires 100%. It doesn't matter. The government isn't collecting your taxes and then spending them. The government is just giving you imaginary numbers in a computer to make you believe that things are good. That's how currency works, guys. I'm sorry. If you want true value, you need something that helps people's lives or their livelihoods. Water, food, land, air. That's actual value. Okay? I'm sorry, but crypto, Stocky. Wait, isn't crypto just fucking numbers in a computer? Crypto's only worth what you're willing to believe it's worth. People make it seem like it's worth more because it's a hedge against inflation. It's fucking numbers in a computer. You can't eat Bitcoin. You can't wipe your ass with Bitcoin. You can't survive with Bitcoin. It's a fucking number in a computer. I'm sorry, guys. We're all in a rat race chasing some shit that is just out of reach. I'm not angry. I'm just trying to be real with people.